Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by General Joe's Reborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I'm joined by the awesome Patrick Notpicard Stewart and Justin General Joe's Bell. In this regular video series, we round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. You know the score, it's the Full Force Weekly. I tried to rhyme and it didn't quite rhyme. Brilliant. Right, gads. Right, gads. That's like guys and lads combined. Let's get stuck into the news, shall we? Because there's a lot to get through and everyone is like, I can't really be doing this today. I've got better things to do. So
different things, not better things, as I keep on saying. Different things.
What a liar.
This is true. He's right.
Two liars. Right. Two liars on this call. Right, first up then, in Nerf news. Yeah, Nerf are offering a dream gig for all you TikTokers out there. Yes, Hasbro's heavy weapons arm are looking for a Nerf Chief TikTok Officer, or CTO, and are willing to offer up 10 grand a month for the temporary 3-month gig. Nerf's job description says you'll spend up to 3 months developing strategy, creating content, and ultimately setting the tone for Nerf's debut on the social platform. The application asks potential Nerf CTOs to post their best Nerf-related TikTok video with the hashtag NerfApplication and @Nerf before the 4th of April. That video can earn you finalist status, but at that point the company will require a formal application and interview. If you get the gig, it'll be remote and they're hoping you can start mid-April. The company will be making its TikTok debut by prompting people to post videos about Nerf. So lads, or gads as I said earlier on, I hope you have your blasters at the ready. We're going in. I'm kidding, of course. Are either of you dusting off your resumes for this one?
No. I mean, maybe I'll pass it along to my 15-year-old kid. She'll probably be a little bit better at it than I would.
That'd be so good if she got the CTO of this.
I'm kidding.
Could you imagine?
Man, I'd be loving it. I'd request a percentage, of course. Yeah, then she doesn't get that whole 10 grand. Either that or just use it to pay for college, one or the other.
50% rental fee on the Nerf accessories that you've purchased.
There you go.
Amazing. That's genius. I think she should go for it. I really think that'd be hilarious. Obviously, there's probably an age limit here. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I'm guessing like 18 upwards, or probably more than that. But yeah, that would be so funny if the CTO of Nerf's TikTok was a child. That would be unbelievably brilliant and needs to happen. Yeah, I was kind of contemplating, should we put a video together as a joke? Just not a joke, but like as a really fun bit of content for this video. And I thought, no, I just don't have the time to be pricking about with that kind of stuff. But I mean, Pat, is this something that would interest you, mate?
Oh, I'm definitely not going to do this. Nerf's really cool. I think that Hasbro's done an amazing job with it. They're clearly doing a good job keeping it relatable to the younger generation. So this is certainly a part of that. I just saw the Nerf blaster that arcs whenever it shoots.
Oh my god, that thing's insane.
But yeah, we talked about it before. I actually saw it finally in the store, and it was really tempting to pick up. I mean, it's all about fun with these things. So yeah. I think this is a good move on their part. I know. I mean, who'd have thought that we'd be in an age now where Nerf blasters can fire around corners?
Crazy.
I mean, some of the old Nerf blasters I had would fire around corners, but not on purpose.
Just make it more difficult to find the balls for the rival rounds.
Exactly. Yeah, that's another thing. I have lost so many Nerf darts just driving that little Nerf Terror Scout around and firing stuff and shooting at Kate around the house and firing at our dogs. But yeah, anyway, that's Nerf TikTok. I really just added it for obviously the G.I. Joe connection there being the the fact they're including Nerf into the classified figures now, which again, like I feel like Nerf has almost become this like unofficial G.I. Joe product all of a sudden. And I'm still expecting G.I. Joe branded Nerf stuff. I mean, I'm surprised that we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I would think it's almost an inevitability with the movie coming out. I wouldn't be surprised to see some stuff as we get closer to October.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I think that a lot of times when there's things that are specific to a brand, they either go the repainted skin route or something brand new. And I think that something like Snowjob's rifle, that classic Sunbow rifle, would be something great to have as a Nerf blast.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Flint's pistol.
Be really cool.
Flint's pistol as well. The one that's like, it's got that weird like rectangular break in it. It's like, well, how do the bullets get to the? Anyway, it's a laser pistol anyway. So how do the laser bullets get from there to there? Anyway, that'd be amazing. And Snowjob's rifle, aka everybody's rifle in the cartoon. I always found that quite funny. Do you think they did that because that was the most sci-fi looking of the rifles?
Well, it's actually a laser rifle as described in the package as well. So I think that probably pushed it to the forefront. And then there's, for some reason it looked like they were going to include it with Duke and then didn't.
Yeah.
That may also play in.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's Nerf TikTok news and Nerf news in general. Let's move on then into some comics news this week, and we've got quite a bit of that to cover. So first up, artist Jamie Sullivan shared an image of his latest G.I. Joe: A Real American Hero retailer incentive cover for issue number 286, and it is a beauty. The cover features Cobra Saboteur Firefly in his original grey camo styling, slinking away from a successful mission to destroy a Joe installation. And it looks like one of their ground radar communications dishes is getting the full force explosions treatment. This is a great cover as Jamie continues to add some real classics to his repertoire of Joe masterpieces. How good is this cover, guys? Like, seriously.
Oh, I think he did a great job. I mean, Firefly, he's straight out of 1984. He's got his old school rifle, his gray camo.
He's even in a similar pose, and he like kind of slinking. Yeah,
and it's a really interesting angle how he's kind of up front, and then you kind of see the radar dish in the background of the explosion and stuff. I think he did a really great job on it. Yeah,
it really tells a lot of what's going on here. It's just a nice capture of the classic Firefly character too.
Who would you think are the three people running away at the top? I zoomed in, I was thinking, I bet one of them's Mainframe.
That just popped into your head?
Yeah, just like one of them has to be Mainframe. It's the only job he does. He just hangs around at installations doing tech stuff.
I could see that, yeah.
Or do you just think they're random green shirts?
Yeah, I don't know. Their silhouettes, it's kind of tough to tell. I don't see any like really discernible shapes or pouches or anything like that. I think they're just random green shirts.
Yeah, there's no like giant backpack that Dialtone has that would have given him away in a second.
No kidding. That'd have been great.
In any case, it's an absolutely beautiful cover, and I'll be chatting about Jamie later on in the shout-outs as well, just for being awesome, and again, related to another cover of his. But yeah, that's an absolute beauty. Continuing, actually, with the comics news, and something that dropped very, very recently. So DC Comics have dropped a sneak peek of their upcoming Fortnite 0-point issue, issue 3, which will see Batman squaring off against our very own Snake Eyes. They posted a few pages, including 2 action-packed scenes showing the 2 protagonists going at it, as well as another variant cover showcasing the 2 characters about to collide in mid-air. Are either of you guys looking forward to this? I think Pat and I spoke about, or maybe Justin and I spoke about this already. I can't remember who I've spoken to about this, but effectively, are you guys looking forward to it?
Yeah, it was me. We talked about it before.
Sorry, Pat. I feel really bad now for forgetting our conversation. You're just not very memorable. I'm sorry.
I'll try harder to say something more controversial this time.
You see, Justin's just always dropping F-bombs and being really nasty to people. You're just too nice. You're like the Brian Hickey of the Full Force Weekly.
Well, maybe this will jog your memory. I think last time I said something about how Snake Eyes looks pretty unscathed and Batman looks a little beat up, which is interesting that that's the case again here. So I don't know if maybe Snake Eyes is just being an opportunist and Batman has just battled 100 people.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here, but this is going to be a great thing. People have talked about this actually a long time. You know, fan theory, what would happen?
Yeah.
Batman versus Snake Eyes. We all know what's going to happen.
They'll kiss. They'll get married. So. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All the usual stuff. Snake Eyes will become the 19th Robin. And then,
Right.
in fact, I really need to see someone do a classified custom of Snake Eyes in a Robin outfit like Deco. That needs to happen now.
The green trunks and the little like wings on his shoes or whatever. Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Amazing. Justin, are you excited for this one?
Yeah, I think this is fantastic. I mean, if this is the result of kind of Hasbro making deals with Epic and Fortnite, I think it's a match made in heaven. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Batman and Snake Eyes kind of duke it out? I think it's a great opportunity to get some visibility towards Batman, who's often overshadowed by G.I. Joe. So I mean, I think that'll be great for Batman.
I wore my Batman hat today just for this particular situation. I think it's really cool as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of the actual storyline and what happens. But effectively, I think what Pat kind of touched on it. I think Batman is dealing with more than just Snake Eyes, and I feel like Snake Eyes has maybe just appeared on the scene at this point with all that like pink electricity and all that kind of like explosion stuff. I think maybe he's kind of come through that portal. And for some reason is immediately on the offensive. I'd like to know why everyone's just fighting with each other. Like it's like, oh, I'm in a random place. There's something I don't recognize. Attack! It just seems like that. At the moment, but I'm sure things.
Well, that is kind of the Fortnite game. I mean, I don't know. See, I don't really know how this is going to play into that sort of like. Is this just a big game island, and with that pink glow, kind of there's like a storm cloud or something. I've watched my 15-year-old play it before, and there's like this shrinking radius of pink energy as you battle, which kind of confines you tighter and tighter to specific places during the game. So it looks like they're really leaning hard into sort of that Fortnite style, like it is taking place within the game, so to speak. Which normally, I mean, I'd be like, it could be interesting, but the fact that Christos Gage is writing it is just another kind of feather in its cap, and I think he's got a really good pedigree, and so this could end up being a lot of fun, and I definitely think that the Fortnite universe is playing a pretty big role, so it'll be interesting how they work that all together.
Absolutely. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, we've also been given another variant cover by Donald Mustard, actually, the Epic Games man, the chief creative officer, and he's knocked up a pretty cool cover as well. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that, kind of like white background, and then the two of them are about to kind of clash in midair. They're kind of almost like coming to like in different poses and stuff. It looks really neat. So again, we're getting tons of stuff out of this. I mean, if anything, we've got an action figure out of it, which is coming sometime in the year 3073, according to the original pre-order. And then obviously loads of comic covers out of this too. So and art, and the actual issues. So I think it's only in issue 3, but it's already bringing quite a lot of Snake Eyes out of this deal.
Yeah. Plus playable skin in the Fortnite game itself, which is pretty cool too.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, that's the comic news this week. Let's move on to the meat of the issue, shall we, lads? And in Flame Toys news. And as a vegan, I should say fake meat. Flame Toys have revealed motorcycles to accompany their upcoming Furai, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow models. Snake Eyes gets a black, red and silver bike called the Speed Cycle, complete with the Arashikage clan logo, and Storm Shadow gets a completely different motorcycle design in white, red and silver with both the clan and Cobra logos on show. They look really cool, and I can't wait to see how the Furai models interact with them. What do you guys think of these?
The thing that I instantly thought was, why didn't I think of this at all before, whenever we were talking about the Flame Toy stuff? Because models and vehicles go hand in hand, for sure. So it never occurred to me that this may actually happen. I think that it's a great way of getting some vehicles out for some G.I. Joe figures, and since they should be compatible with the Classified series line, I think these things are going to sell really quickly.
Yeah, they look really cool as well, don't they? On top of that,
they do.
Like in the past, we've had a lot of kind of like motorcycles in like Retaliation, Rise of Cobra, those kind of lines. And they've always been a little bit kind of like almost like over designed in ways that kind of take it a little bit out of reality. Go on, mate.
The Storm Shadow one actually looks a lot like the Valor versus Venom one to me.
Okay.
Looks like a lot to me. Like I look at that what's probably a headlight and think that it must be a missile.
Yep.
In my mind, that's where the missile is on that one.
Yeah.
That's just what it looks like to me.
I look at it and think it's going to break up into lots of pieces and become individual bombs that Firefly parachutes off the back of. No, I do like how they are not generic looking at all. They actually look really cool and very well designed, but they do have that like very like real feel to them, and that could like again that could go with your classified figures, could go with Marvel Legends figures. It could kind of you could see them being utilized in different aspects of 6-inch kind of product.
Yeah, I mean they look amazing, and I really echo what Pat was saying kind of about the Valor versus Venom, and I think there's even elements of that in the Snake Eyes version too, because I know in the Valor versus Venom motorcycle that Snake Eyes came, I think was black and red, and had some of the some similar design aesthetics, not exactly the same, but it really is interesting. It's bizarre in a way because I'm not sure where the fascination about Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow coming with high powered motorcycles started. I think it was right around Valor versus Venom, or perhaps a little bit before. I seem to remember Devil's Due featuring them in one of their issues. I don't know if that was before or after they made their debut in the Valor versus Venom toy line. But I mean, it makes sense. The Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are kind of badass characters. Motorcycles are kind of badass vehicles, and I think they look really awesome, and these look really great too. I'm a little curious. I think they mentioned that they're models. I don't know kind of how the Flame Toys stuff kind of, once you assemble it, how well it stays together. Like, are they models that you assemble and they kind of stay that way, or would they potentially break apart if you played with them? Not that I ever play with my toys, but in the event that I did, would it fall apart?
Like a speeder bike when you press the button.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Or the Silver Mirage.
I was going to say,
kind of like fall off.
The Silver Mirage, you have to look at it on that one spot, and then it just goes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But they look really cool. I'm excited. I'll wait to see kind of what the price point is. I didn't buy the 2 Flame Toys figures.
Have they gone up for pre-order yet?
That's true. No, I don't think they have even gone for pre-order.
I think there's a reason you haven't gone into them yet.
I haven't bought them yet because they
don't exist.
Yet, but when they do go for sale, I don't think I'll be pre-ordering them.
I was thinking, hang on, when did that happen? Because I missed that.
You don't miss anything. Chris, are you kidding me? Like every single day I send you, I said, Chris, did you see this? You're like, yeah, I posted a story like 6 hours ago.
Or I'm in the middle of the burst at that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't got the time to talk, Justin. Stop bothering me with your crap messages.
Stop bothering me with 3-hour-old news. I'm busy.
Actually, to be honest though, it's really helpful because there have been times when I've not been paying attention and you guys send me stuff and have you seen this? And I'm like, no, I haven't seen this. Where did this come from? Where I walked away from my laptop for 4 seconds to have a wee, and now there's like 6 reveals of something. No kidding. I very much appreciate it, and I also appreciate it when we have lots of viewers as well that send messages to us. And have you seen this? Sometimes it's great because it's like, oh great, like I'm either looking at it as it comes through, or it's something I haven't seen yet. But most of the time, I'm right in the middle of the news burst, and people are sending me the same thing like 6 times. I'm like, guys, I've posted it. Give me a second to get it out. But no, it's great, and I do appreciate that. Anyway, side tangent there. Coming back to these motorcycles, I can't wait. I really want to get these, and I really want to get those figures. I'm interested to see how action figure they are, because obviously we are getting a Snake Eyes action figure in the Hitokiri in the other line that they do. I can't remember if it's Hitokarakiri. Does that sound right?
I'd be lying if I said I.
I apologize if that's incorrect, but I'm looking forward to if they are doing I'm looking forward to seeing how much of an action figure they actually are, because they look like there's a bit of articulation there, like you can pose them in certain places, but who knows? Pat, you know more about this than we do.
Yeah, I actually looked at a YouTube video of somebody assembling an Optimus Prime, and for the most part, the things that remained very model-like were spots that kind of the person assembling it painted some areas rather than using the decals, because decals over textured areas don't always look as good as just painting it.
Yeah.
For the most part, once he got that thing together, it was pretty much just like an action figure. I think
Awesome.
that there weren't any spots on it that were noted that felt like they were particularly fragile or anything. I would imagine you wouldn't want it taking a dive off of a shelf, or maybe a different result for it than there would be with like
Speeder bike. Yeah.
series figure, but I don't think there's going to be the problem. These are mostly snap together models, not things, snap together, maybe some screw together parts, but they're not like whenever I was younger, breaking out the model glue and gluing them to myself.
Yeah, I know that feeling. I had an Apache helicopter that I put together. My granddad used to make models. Like, he was a genius at it. I've got pictures of his train room, and he's just got all these old World War II, World War One fighters like above it, like hanging from the ceiling. Absolutely, just like loads of them. And so like he was a genius at that kind of thing. I didn't really pick that up from him, unfortunately. But when I made the Apache, that was there for years. Like I was so proud because it took ages, and it's like tiny little things that you have to like, it's really intricate, and it takes more. It's not one of those things where you just throw it or stick some glue on it and it's done. It's like a 3-week operation for someone like myself. So yeah, I'm looking forward to these, and I must admit, going back to the original Flame Toys reveals, those two figures look insane. They look so good, like design-wise. They have nailed both of those characters, I think, just from those 2 images they posted.
Yeah, and honestly, I think part of me is just curious to see how they feel once they're together. So I may end up picking up Snake Eyes or Storm Shadow, or both. I don't know.
Both.
I didn't pre-order them either.
Justin, yeah, none of us have pre-ordered them yet. And also, I'm definitely getting those motorbikes. I don't care what anyone says. Anyway, that's the Flame Toys motorcycles reveal. We've got some even bigger news coming up now in the world of Snake Eyes. So, in absolutely, that's definitely the new movie Snake Eyes design news. Hasbro Pulse nonchalantly dropped a huge hammer of a reveal on Thursday when they updated their FanFest website with more info and the new movie Snake Eyes design. Well, I'll be shocked if it's not, but anyway, FanFest will be holding a Snake Eyes movie panel next Friday, revealing the new classified Snake Eyes movie line as well as more movie-based product on the 9th of April. And due to the clear differences in this design, I'm pretty sure we are looking at the brand new movie Snake Eyes. Of course, it's only a partial piece of art, but it gives us some really good looks at that sexy new visor, intricate suit detailing and textures, a new secondary strap system that holds the sheath and sword, and some very cool armoured wrist gauntlets. We're also given a possible sneak peek at the classified packaging design with that interesting red background splash and more decorative tattoo style art, much like we saw on the deluxe packaging for Snake Eyes last year. This makes me very excited as we get closer to the really big reveal day for Snake Eyes, and hopefully a really awesome day of product and trailers. I can dream, can't I? Lads, thoughts on the new design, please. First off, do you think this is the movie design? I personally think this is the movie design. What are your thoughts here? We'll start with Justin.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards it being the movie design. I mean, they're using the image when they're talking about the Hasbro G.I. Joe brand panel. They've already said that the G.I. Joe panel is going to be very focused around the movie figures. So it only makes sense to me that is what they're talking about with this particular figure. Is there a chance that it's not? Sure. But I think, in kind of looking at the artwork that was posted, it's clearly different than the classified line. It's clearly different than the Fortnite version of the classified figure. There's different textures in various different places. You can kind of see a little more, quote unquote, real world aesthetic with the mask, with some of the reinforced kind of chin guards and stuff. It looks like it could be a more realistic kind of real world sort of get up rather than sort of a more comic-y kind of thing that wouldn't exist as it stands in the real world. So I'm definitely leaning towards this being a movie design Snake Eyes. Is it, or maybe I should better say a Snake Eyes from the movie line. I mean, does that mean it's going to be looking exactly like this in the film itself? That's, up for debate, but I think there's definitely a good chance of that with the way they've sort of framed this artwork, just showing off a part of it and then kind of teasing us for next Friday, which I think is going to be really, really awesome.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. I would be super shocked if this isn't something from the movie line. Like, why are they utilizing artwork that, one, we haven't seen before, and I mean design artwork, not like just artwork, but an actual design we haven't seen before for something that is effectively a Snake Eyes movie panel. It doesn't really vibe with me, and obviously the background red splash indicates packaging design, indicates something slightly different for the classified movie packaging. I wouldn't be surprised if we see again also that kind of like effect they put on the exclusive packaging for the Snake Eyes, that kind of tattoo art. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of embossed packaging design on that as well for the classified figures, because it would make a lot of sense to reutilize that kind of thing, or even redesign something to also you make it a little bit more premium, a little bit different from the classified packaging. Anyway, that was just from looking at it though, looking at that artwork, the helmet looks like a motorcycle helmet for one, and we know that there's a motorcycle scene in it, so that's ringing bells straight away. Like, oh, okay, maybe it's like, that's what his helmet is going to be like. It's not going to be a mask as such, like a form-fitting mask. It's going to be a helmet. And also the visor looks so cool and intricately different than we've seen anywhere else. The secondary strap system is completely different from that classified secondary. Yeah. And also, if you look at the actual panel detailing, not just like the texture, which is really cute. They've got loads of. If you zoom in on that image, there are tons of different pattern textures on each of the panels and the materials. But the paneling is in a completely different format than we've seen on anything else so far. So if this isn't the movie design, one, I'll be super surprised. I can definitely see it being something related to the film, or like you said earlier off camera, you mentioned it could be the artist's interpretation of something in the film. That's another aspect we could be looking at here.
I mean, they have shown that Storm Shadow, artwork for that Storm Shadow figure that doesn't exist yet. But I would think, since they have come out and said that this is a Snake Eyes movie panel, that they wouldn't be using artwork for a Snake Eyes figure that wasn't part of the line. I mean, that just doesn't seem right.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Pat, on this art?
Well, I was thinking that whenever the movie stuff is released for the figures, that there's the possibility that they may have developed some supplemental things that we haven't seen that are actually in the movie, because sometimes it makes sense to put that stuff out at the same time. And I really think it's not out of the realm of possibility that we would be seeing a new Snake Eyes non-movie figure sometime in around that time frame, because Snake Eyes does come out relatively frequently, and it will have been a little while since the Wave 1 Snake Eyes hit. So it does make sense, I think, to release a non-movie Snake Eyes before too long, but I don't think that that's what this is. I think this probably is for the movie, because if you look at the outfit, it has the armor, but the armor almost looks like it's attached to something of a stretchy material.
Yeah.
That stretchy material would be something that would be useful to have in order to be an actual human making a lot of martial arts moves in a movie. And the helmet or mask, whichever it may be, looks like the jawline for some reason is what I'm really focused on, that it looks like it's almost crafted for a specific person, for a specific profile to go in there. Not something that would just be, conjured up in an imagination, but something that a person wore something, and now this is being based on that.
Yeah. I also like the fact that the mouth, like where we've seen like the classified version and like the retaliation version, have always had these different versions of that kind of lower part of the mask, but they all they're in the same family in my head. They all look like they've got that similar thing where you've got like some sort of external chin strap almost that is like, it's like a separate piece. And then over the mouth, you've either got vents or you've got this kind of mesh. And this is like this looks like an even different design on top of that. It's like almost like a breathable lower face mask aspect, which is really cool. I mean, I can't get. I when I saw this come up, someone posted again. This was another fan of the show actually sent me a message saying, "Have you seen this? What is this? Do you think this is the new design?" And instantly, I want to be like, "No, it's not," because I haven't heard about it yet. And I'm like, damn, that looks new. And when I went on the Hasbro Pulse website and checked out, I'm like, this is something new. This has not been seen before. This is like, I wouldn't have been surprised if 80s Tees had dropped this 2 minutes before we recorded. But like, you know, I did. I checked as well before we started recording. I'm like, I know they're going to have it. They're going to have it up there already. I know it. They haven't yet. But yeah, that's something that I was looking at and I'm thinking, this is alien to me. And I zoomed in on everything. And when you really zoom in on it, the textures, the pattern textures on all of the different panels are so cool. There's like kind of polygon patterns on one part of the armor. Then the texture of the material has another different pattern effect going on. I think there's like 3 or 4 different pattern effects on the different aspects and panels of the actual design. So I'm really excited to see this. I think if this is the movie version, sign me up. It looks amazing. Yeah. I'm really happy with it. If it's not, c'est la vie. We've got another great Snake Eyes design out there. Like I don't know what it would be for, but I'm happy to see it utilized in the movie line, in the classified, whatever it may be. Bring it on. Yeah. So,
definitely. No, I was just going to say, I mean, with all the different textures on it, what it really kind of reminded me of a little bit was the uniform that Captain America wears in Avengers Endgame, which has kind of, I know they're trying to mirror his sort of scale, chainmail kind of look from the comics, but everywhere you look on that outfit, there's different textures and different shapes of textures and things like that. So that's really what it kind of triggered in my head, is that's the sort of style they're going with. And I think that does sort of emphasize a real world sort of design for these things. The same thing with like the Superman costume from the Justice League movies and Man of Steel, how it's got all that texture over it. It's not just flat kind of spandex sort of look. Because I think we've seen that smooth texture doesn't necessarily resonate in live action quite as well. You know, you look at the Captain America uniform from the original Avengers movie, that was all kind of smooth material and didn't really look right, in live action. But you add all these textures to it and it gives the costume kind of more depth and reality, I guess, so to speak. And so that kind of lends it to being something that might be used in live action.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how that's kind of affecting what people refer to as a very superhero look. You know, back in the 80s and 90s, a superhero look definitely meant spandex.
Yeah. Yep.
But now a superhero look, I think, is you've got shoulder pads on top of a material and some armors and maybe some buckles or some straps that are
definitely
onto something in order to look good on camera as somebody moves.
Panels, straps, armor, you throw it in a box, you shake it up, throw some glue in there, and you've got a superhero suit. I'm digging this, and I think you can see looking at it, like you say, that this is something that they were going for movie-wise. They were going for that superhero-esque thing. They want to capture what Marvel have been doing, what DC have been doing. They want to capture what Marvel have been doing. But you know what I mean? They want to capture that essence of, or visually as well, of what they've been going for. And it seems to, if this is what it's going to be, man, I'm in. You had me. Yeah. You had me at hello, Henry Golding. Right then. Okay. Well, that's all of the Pat news this week. We've Justin and I have got to quickly talk about a bit of movie news, but then obviously we'll grab Pat again for the shout out. So Pat, mute your mic, sod off. We'll be back in a second. Yeah, and so in Transformers movie news, and we've had quite a bit of this Transformers movie news in the last couple of days actually, but they're working on yet another Transformers movie. Apparently so. Paramount Pictures have made a blind script commitment to develop a new feature based on the popular Hasbro brand. Marco Ramirez, the showrunner of Netflix Marvel show The Defenders, is set to write the script, while Angel Manuel Soto, who directed last year's teen drama Charm City Kings, is attached to direct. The Hollywood Reporter mentioned that the project would not follow the Bayverse continuity-wise, but didn't mention if it was connected to the same universe as Bumblebee or the Beast Wars movie currently in development. I imagine it will be, but there are very few details at this stage, so we will keep you updated on that. In addition to this news, it came out that Anthony Ramos, famously part of the original Hamilton cast, is set to land the leading role in the other Transformers movie, currently in development and helmed by Stephen Caple Jr. Rather promising for all the Transformers fans out there right now, isn't it, Justin?
Yeah, it's crazy. Lots of stuff happening kind of simultaneously. You want to hope that they're doing it in kind of a concerted sort of unilateral front and not like all running off in the separate directions, just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall. So hopefully it adds up to some kind of cohesive sort of Transformers universe that is a lot of fun. I think the Transformers, that whole environment is ripe for pulling here and there and kind of tying it all together without, you can make a couple of movies simultaneously in that world and not necessarily have a lot of crossover, but have them kind of connect back in some way. So I think, it's promising. There's a lot of cool stuff. I think they really got off on the right foot with the Bumblebee movie, and hopefully they continue that momentum and keep that spirit alive as they kind of continue moving forward on these other projects.
I know you're a big fan of Daredevil, and of course he was in Defenders as well, the Defenders, wasn't he? And obviously they've got the showrunner for that series to kind of be involved with this new idea of Transformers. Does that excite you?
Defenders wasn't my favorite part of that next Netflix universe, to be honest with you. I mean, it was fine. But, I didn't see anything in the Defenders, miniseries that kind of said, whoa, whoever's behind that is a master. I think, he's obviously got some experience, in that kind of, superhero world. I'd feel better about it if it was somebody who was involved in the Daredevil individual seasons was involved in this. Defenders was, I was a little bit mixed about Defenders as a whole, but yeah, I mean, it's good to have somebody with some of that experience.
Sorry, Phoebe was just barking her head off, so I just muted my mic so you wouldn't hear it all. She's still going.
She wants to be a part of the podcast.
She's really excited about the Transformers movies that are in development, and who could blame her? She's going to go for the other role alongside Anthony Ramos. Now that's really interesting, isn't it? Anthony Ramos, sorry. He was in Hamilton. Now, if you haven't seen Hamilton, viewers, listeners, etc., Justin, if you haven't seen Hamilton, watch Hamilton. It is incredible. Like, if you're, his history, hip hop, and it's just amazing. That's all I'm saying.
Is this part of like the Hamilton cinematic universe? I mean, that's really what I'm.
That would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Who's the supervillain?
If Transformers just George Washington. If you haven't seen it, it's great. And Anthony Ramos is unreal in it. He's so good. There are loads of people in that show that are doing amazing things elsewhere in music, in entertainment, and I think it's a really good get, for them to, Stephen Caple Jr. apparently said that he wanted him as the lead in advance of getting this, so that's quite interesting as well, isn't it? That's
awesome. Yeah, that's great that they can really land on characters like that and actors like that will really bring something to the role. I mean, I think somebody who's been in Hamilton is going to bring a little bit more kind of acting gravitas than like Mark Wahlberg or somebody like that. So
yeah, that's a very good point. Someone did it's Thew. If you ever watch any of his videos, they're amazing. And he did an impression of Mark Wahlberg in the movies, and it's so funny. But anyway, enough of that. So that is the Transformers news and movie news at the moment. There's a lot of it. We tend to throw it in the weekly here because I'm not going to keep reporting on the Transformers stuff. It's just so much of it. It's daily. Right. So obviously we'll keep you up to date on any more info coming out of the new Transformers movie in development, and obviously the other Transformers movie in development, which Justin's going to love because it's Beast Wars related. We'll bring you more when we get it. Anyway, Justin, thanks for doing that for me. Sure. Let's just nip back to shout outs, and we can rejoin Pat and talk about stuff that's happened in the week. Hi Pat, you're back.
I'm back.
Thanks for joining us again for the shout out section. Let's before, I always start this off, so I'm going to stop starting this. And I'm going to let Pat, who's been away for a few moments, I'm going to let you start the shout-outs, Pat. What have you got in? What have you witnessed this week that interests you? Tell us some shout-outs, whatever.
Oh, well, the Chaos Bringer arrived yesterday. Yes, yes, I got my Unicron. He's currently sitting. I was way too busy though to touch him. I've been honestly
Mate,
asleep the time since he arrived.
I needed 1 human hour just to get the out of the box and actually put it up into that's like, it's ridiculous.
That's what I saw. Somebody post an image of theirs that they broke.
Was it the little thing at the bottom, the little panel that swings out?
It is, yeah.
You see, I mentioned that in the last episode. There's a thing where you can only open it out, right? And the instructions don't tell you a thing. They just say, just put it on the stand. That's it. There's nothing else in the instructions that explains it. You have to. You have to break it open and push the panel inside for it to sit on the stand. Was that what was broken?
Maybe it wasn't that, because it was actually like a panel that holds the planet mouth on.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's only the one person I've seen that has posted that theirs broke, but I definitely don't want to be too hasty with mine.
Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna dedicate a full week. I'm gonna just stop doing any news bursts or weeklies, and I'm just gonna spend a week transforming it. It's nuts. So, did you get it delivered? You got it delivered to your folks' place, didn't you? Did you have any trouble with that?
Actually, I kind of did. The first day they said that they showed up, but FedEx didn't ring the doorbell or make
unsubstantiated fantasy.
That's right, exactly. They just kind of logged, "Hey, we were there," and took off. And then the second day, they left it off by the garage. So that was a little strange, but I ended up getting it. You know, my had it delivered to my parents' house because I knew I'd probably be at work whenever it would be.
Yeah.
And I was, so it all worked out. But they brought it over my place, and I have not had time to open up the box yet. And I'm going to take my time.
I haven't apologized to the people that work in our apartment complex, because they would have had to sign for it and then take it from the mail room where they had to sign for it all the way to the other side of the building to where our mail is, like on this, like next to this Amazon locker. Because I walk out there like just, you know, chilling, like, oh, there it is. Went to pick it up. I'm like, yeah, this thing is heavy. The box that it was in was slightly bigger than the actual box it comes in. So you're kind of like walking down the hall, like just trying not to drop it and break the floor. It is so much heavier than I thought it was going to be.
I was glad to see that they added an outer box. I know that I was seeing some of the shipping notices that people were getting from some of the online stores where there was just, you know, a label slapped to the actual box of Unicron, and it was
I got a shipping box on mine.
Yeah, so I was really happy to see that Pulse shipped them in an outer shipping box so that I can forever enjoy that Unicron box, because I know that that's not a box that you let go of.
I've got both of them still. It's actually sitting on the box in the corner over there. That's the furniture that I'm using now. It's part of the house now, guys. That's it. It belongs.
Go to the couch. You're sitting on Unicron's box now.
It's better than sitting on its mouth or in one of its horns. Anyway, yeah, cool. That's awesome, man. I'm glad you got it. I'm so happy, and I really want to play with it. I see it every day, and I walk past it all the time, and I'm always touching it, constantly touching it. But I want to transform the bloody thing. But I literally need hours and hours to do it.
Yeah, and with editing time, I wouldn't imagine that you can edit and transform at the same time.
No, not allowed.
No. And shout out to Philip too. I always have to shout out to Philip.
Love it. Philip missed a shout out on one of our episodes when you missed the episode, because we just completely forgot about shouting him out. So,
oh wow! Yeah,
so
I got to show up for the Philip shout out.
Double shout out to Philip. Justin, any shout outs this week, bud?
Yeah, I mean, I do want to shout out. I got
here he goes.
Maybe something that I got in this week. I got Ray Phoenix and Penta from the Legends of Lucha Libre.
Nice.
Brilliant figures, aren't they?
They're freaking awesome. You know, Boss Fight's first foray into 6-inch figures, and they're fantastic. Got a couple little accessory sets too, and I think I broke that table about 15 times.
Oh, it's so cool, isn't it?
But yeah, I got those this week, which was really awesome.
I love that it's in multiple pieces rather than just like bust in half with like a little zigzag kind of break.
Exactly. Yeah, it breaks down into 3 different pieces. Yeah, I love it. It's fantastic.
Brilliant. Yeah, really good stuff.
So shout out to them. I did get a chance to watch Godzilla versus Kong, and had a lot of fun with that, and kind of enjoyed the, streaming. I didn't go to a theater. Sorry, Pat. I did stream it on HBO Max. But that was a lot of fun too.
He got a dodgy copy and he watched it.
No, I didn't. I paid for it fair and square. Paid for it fair and square.
Just out of interest, where did you stream it?
HBO Max.
Oh man.
It's kind of their, they put it simultaneously on that platform and in theaters. And I think it's free there for people who pay for the subscription until the 30th of April or something like that. But
cool. We went round the Iranians to watch the 6-day edit of the Snyder Cut. So
I watched that as well. But I think that was last week. Actually, that was last week and this week. It took me like a week just to watch it. Yeah,
it's like the same transforming Unicron and watching the Snyder Cut. Just do that. Watch that movie and transform Unicron, and by the time you finish transforming him, you'll still be halfway through the movie.
I may actually do that.
Do it, mate.
That's not a bad idea. There you go.
I'll watch the original cut first, and then the Snyder Cut, just to give myself, a good 7 hours or whatever.
And then he's going to watch all the Lord of the Rings back to back. Yeah. Actually, Pat, you should watch the Transformers movie while you transform Unicron.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I should. But that would give me only 86 minutes, is it?
Just put it on repeat then. Just have that mother fudger on loop. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going to be doing. As soon as I get an opportunity, Transformers is going on, and it's going to be the animated. It's going to be pristine Blu-ray quality. It's going to be the best day. Sorry, the best 6 days ever. Anyway, as always, big shout out to the family, my wonderful wife Kate. Love you guys to forever. To Brian Sauer, who continues to create some amazing graphics for us. We've got a really special treat for you guys dropping tomorrow, and Brian has gone above and beyond once again. So keep an eye out on Sunday for a special episode drop, shall we say. Also, shout out to Pack Rat Studios, who posted this awesome Master of the Universe Cobra Commander crossover bootleg figure on Facebook last week, and boy does this work. The figure takes homages from the Snake Men, King Hiss, Cobra Khan, combines the decos and head sculpts iconic to Cobra Commander for this superb mashup, and they even made him an alternate helmetless head, which takes cues direct from the 1987 movie and the famous Was Once a Man scene, which I'm wearing on my shirt today. Look, there you go. They also gave him a gold version of King Hiss snake staff, and I'm just in love with this. The figure sold on eBay earlier in the week, but we just wanted to give them props for a job well done on that one. It's really, really cool. Shout out to Dan Klingensmith Jr. for these awesome Street Fighter comics he sent me. I say these. I am holding them right here. Very kind of you, pal. Thank you very much. I think he was just digging around, clearing out some stuff, and just said, "Do you want these Street Fighter comics?" I'm like, yeah. So thanks to Dan for that one, much appreciated. Coming actually around to Jamie Sullivan as well. Shout out to Jamie Sullivan for sending me, and I'll post the image on the video. I can't really get it because it's wrapped up at the moment, but a beautiful print from his cover on G.I. Joe: Real American Hero issue 256, showing Ace versus the Night Ravens. I was so gutted I couldn't get the original cover, so having this massive print really makes up for that. It's seriously one of my favorite comic covers of all time. I think like in terms of modern comics, it's up there, possibly like number one for me. But it just jumped into that. When you do those like top fours on Twitter or like Facebook, they'll say like post your favorite comic covers or whatever. That has now creeped in to the top four. So I can't remember what it pushed out. Maybe a Spider-Man issue. Torment, I think it was. I really used to like that one, the McFarlane cover. Anyway, yes. So big shout out to Jamie Sullivan. Thanks for sending me that, mate. And as we mentioned last week, of course, we continue to stand with the Asian and Pacific Islander communities in saying Stop Asian Hate, and we'll continue to do so for however long we have to do so. So follow the links in the description if you want more information or if you just want to do more to help. And as always, to our patrons, listeners and viewers, fortunately our patrons got our special drop yesterday. You got to see early access of this special episode that's dropping on Sunday. So big shout out to you guys, and continue to support us, and we'll continue to give back with terrible content and horrible videos like these. Anyway, That's it for this one. Guys, thank you so much for jumping on to this episode of The Weekly. Really appreciate you doing it for me yet again.
Not a problem, Chris. Had fun.
Yep, thanks for having me on again.
As always, guys. That brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you for watching The Full Force Weekly. Massive thank you to my awesome co-hosts, Patrick Notpicard Stewart and Justin Generals Joes Bell. See you next time. And as always, after 3, 1, 2, 3, Full Force! Yes, we were all out of sync. Perfect.
Beautiful.
I love it when that happens.
Planned it that way, yeah.
Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @The Full Force, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/The Full Force, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.